In some parts of the world, food looks so strange. Let's take a look at the world's weirdest foods, and begin our countdown. If you've got a strong stomach, you might reconsider once you've seen these. From cheese maggots to rotten eggs, these are some of the world's weird foods. Number 1. Shirako, Japan. As euphemisms go, this one's a corker. Shirako in Japanese means white children, but refers to the sperm sacs of either cod, anglerfish or puffer fish. Looking like white blobs of goo or miniature brains, they are said to have a sweet custardy taste. Number 2. Tuna eyeballs, Japan. It's waste not want not. When it comes to tuna in Japan, even the eyes are plucked out and served up cheap in supermarkets. To cook, simply boil or steam, and season with garlic or soy sauce. Perhaps unsurprisingly, it tastes a little like squid. Number 3. Balut, the Philippines. This fertilized duck egg, with its partly developed embryo inside, is boiled alive and then eaten from the shell with salt, chili and vinegar. You're supposed to tap a hole in the top of the shell, sup the savory liquid and then crunch down the rest of what's inside, feathers, bones and all. Number 4. Crispy tarantulas, Cambodia. Few people would look at a tarantula and think, lunch, so it's perhaps no surprise that these spiders were first eaten by Cambodians starving under the Khmer Rouge regime. Bizarrely, they became popular and are now served as a deep-fried snack throughout the country. Apparently they taste a bit like crab. 5. White ant egg soup, Laos. One of the world's more unusual soups, Gang Kai Mo Dang, combines a mixture of ant eggs and partial embryos from the white ant, plus a few baby ants to add sourness. If your stomach can handle it, the flavor is supposedly quite tasty, sharp and delicate, and a little like shrimp. Number 6. Jellied moose nose, Canada. Nose isn't exactly a choice cut, but that hasn't stopped some adventurous Canadians from experimenting with nasal gastronomy by boiling them up with onions and spices, removing the hair, boiling again, then slicing and covering with a broth that sets into a jelly. It certainly looks as bad as it sounds. Number 7. Boshintang, Korea. This supposedly health-giving Korean soup is made with spring onions, dandelions, a host of spices and one infamous ingredient, dog meat. Though you will struggle to find it on menus today, it's still popular with the older generation and generally agreed to taste better than it smells. There's certainly better parts to the Korean cuisine and drinks culture, like the traditional liquors and Hanok-style restaurants. Number 8. Huitlacoche, Mexico. Corn smut is a fungus that turns normal corn kernels into tumor-like growths covered in blue-black spores. To most people that's a diseased corn cob that needs to be thrown out. To the Mexicans, it's a culinary specialty. They call it huitlacoche, sleeping excrement, and enjoy the woody, earthy flavor of the fungus. Number 9. Arag, Mongolia. Glass of fermented horse milk, anyone. In Mongolia, this isn't an unusual offer at all. They make a kind of beer called arag by taking a mare's milk and letting it ferment into a fizzy, sour and slightly alcoholic liquid. It's traditionally served chilled in a bowl-shaped cup. Dregs are supposed to be poured back into the main container. Number 10. Casu marzu, Italy, known as rotten cheese. Sardinia's casu marzu is made from pecorino that has gone bad, really bad. The larvae of cheese flies, Piophila are added to the pecorino, hatching inside, burrowing around and digesting the fats. The result is a weeping, tongue-burning delicacy that you can eat with or without the maggots. Number 11. Muktuk, Greenland, a traditional Inuit meal of frozen whale skin and blubber. Muktuk is normally served either raw or pickled. It looks a little bit like licorice all sorts and has several layers, the skin, which apparently tastes like hazelnuts, the fat chewy, and the protective layer in between even more chewy. Don't eat if wearing dentures. Number 12. Hakarel, Iceland. How anyone conceived of this dish is a mystery. To prepare, first gut and behead a Greenland shark, place in a shallow grave and cover with sand and stones. Leave for 2 to 3 months, then cut into strips and dry for several more months before serving. First-time tasters are advised to hold their nose and try not to gag. Smoked puffin, lamb soup, skyr dessert, Iceland has much more to offer in their cuisine. Number 13, century egg, China. If you discovered a rotten egg, would you eat it? Someone in ancient China did, lived to tell the tale, and now it's an established delicacy. The eggs, also known as 100-year eggs or paidan, are covered in clay, ash and salt for months, by which time the yolk is dark green and stinks of sulfur. Curious to find out what the locals of Shanghai eat. Number 14, Slo, Ukraine. Many advocate keeping the fat on meat, but the Ukrainians decided to go one step further and just eat the fat on its own. Usually it's made into slabs, smoked and left in a cool cellar for a year before being eaten sliced thinly with rye bread. Ukrainians love it so much they even have a festival of lard to celebrate it. Number 15, Stargazer Pie, England. A pie with fish that stare at the sky. Stargazer originates from the Cornish village of Mousehole in England, and is served on Tom Bawcock's Eve, the 23rd of December. According to legend, this heroic 16th-century sailor rode out one December evening in high storms and returned with a catch big enough to feed the starving residents. Number 16, Locusts, Israel. The last but not the least. Israel has of late been suffering from a plague of locusts, but fortunately this is the only insect to be considered kosher, so Israelis have been eradicating the pests in a unique way, by eating them. Deep-fried and chocolate-covered locusts are apparently going down a storm, no pun intended. Besides locusts, there's plenty of barika, hummus, and malabi to taste, just to name a few. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Press that notification bell to see my latest upload, press the like button and write down your comments at the comments box below. See you next time, take care.